What if I told you this place was once named Murderer's Bay? Abel Tasman, a Dutch explorer, while on expedition on the 13th of December 1642, they saw land, becoming the first Europeans to sight New Zealand. Anchored not far off the coast, some of his men set out in a small rowboat. They ran afoul of Ngāti Tumatakokari, the local iwi who lived in the area. As Abel Tasman writes himself, we saw 7 more boats put out from the shore. They began to paddle so furiously and struck the boat. Upon this, the other natives with short, thick clubs overcame them by main force. 4 of his men were killed. Tasman raised their anchor and left, naming it Murderer's Bay. 127 years would pass before the next recorded encounter between European and Māori.
Good morning from the beginning of the Abel Tasman Track. Number of days on the track, 5. Number of days of expected rain, 5. I have been very lucky. I don't think it's properly rained on any hike for the past year that I've been on, so I guess I deserve some rain. As you can see, I am by myself this time, so this will be my first solo hike in New Zealand. Are you ready?
Day 1, Marahau Shelter to Anchorage Campsite. Distance, 12.4 kilometers. Time, approximately 4 hours. You'll get a gentle introduction for what's in store on your 5-day journey, walking amongst the beech forest, which is the dominant forest cover of the western side of the South Island. You'll also be popping in and out of bays. Swimming spots could be endless, on a sunny day.
So it's definitely raining. I'm thankful it's not windy though, considering I'm right next to the ocean. But the rain is meant to be the worst today and tomorrow. I think about 12 millimeters each day, which is a fair chunk. And maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow. Walking in the rain is not so bad. I think it's when you get to camp, then you get pretty sick of the rain. But so far so good.
It is on this trip that I truly get to understand the personality of one of New Zealand's native birds, the weka. Little did I know what was to come, a battle of my own kind. But there's more on that later.
have lunch at one of the little campsites that's off the track. This campsite is actually so nice. It's literally right next to the beach. Look at that! But it's still raining, so I kind of have to be quick. But I really needed to take the pack off. So I'm gonna eat my energy for the remaining hour and a half.
Atchison Bay is named after a man, William Atchison, who among many things in 1865 is known for arresting William Bully Hayes, the semi-pirate dubbed the Terror of the South Seas. It seems every corner of the ocean here has a story to tell.
Every single time I go on a hike, I have an internal battle about whether I bring my broad-brimmed hat or my cap. This hike chose to bring my cap, and it's the most nifty little rain shield. It sits perfectly under the hood of your rain jacket. So if you're hiking in the rain, that's a pro tip for you.
This was the beginning of my realization that this truly was a solo hike. 50 tent sites and not a single other person camping alongside me. So the question remains, which site should I pick?
To strategically place myself with the shelter right there, so in the morning if it's raining I can duck over and pack my stuff without getting wet. And then on the other side of me, that way, is the toilet. So I think I did alright.
Here marks the very beginning of the war against the humans by the Wicker. Step 1. Suss and size out your opponent. Step 2. Assess what armory the humans are carrying. Step 3. Initiate first attack. Pull out whatever you can from their tiny little nylon homes.
Let me show you something. USB charging ports at a campsite. Taken the liberty and I am charging my GoPro. But that's insane! Here is another campsite novelty that I just keep getting weirded out by these novelties. Treated drinking water. Treated. Good morning! It is absolutely beautiful walking along here this morning. It's kind of that golden hour
The sand is like golden in colour. It's not raining, that will come later. But man, those wicker birds, crazy. They kept pulling things out of my tent. At one stage my sleeping bag was halfway out from under my tent. I think they were able to get my zips and do them undone, so I ended up having my zips up at the top, so worked around that. Those kiwi birds, man. Anyway, look at this! This is the hard point of, do we take the low tide track, which is 30 minutes, or do we take the high tide track and get to see Cleopatra's pool? But that adds on about another hour at least to the trip. Left or right? What do you think? In reference to a Doctor Who episode, when given the choice of left or right, it's usually in your best interest to turn left. So, I have taken the high tide track, even though I was within the time frame to take the low tide track. You can sort of see through the trees where you would have crossed. But this Cleopatra's pool better be worth it. Another sidetrack that I spotted called Cascade Falls is straight uphill. Normally I don't do that many side trips if I'm by myself, unless they're super short, but it's still quite early in the morning, and it's a waterfall. I mean, can't miss any waterfalls. Day 2, Anchorage campsite to Bark Bay campsite. Distance 11.5 kilometers. Time approximately 4 hours. I can vouch for the side trips today. There is something incredibly refreshing about the moss-covered rocks and crystal-like water that you'll pass by. I'm being followed by a bird. May we please appreciate the following clip of this fantail joining in on the hike. It is said that in Māori mythology, the fantail, when seen inside the house, is a messenger, bringing news of death from the gods to the people. Luckily for me, there were no houses around. Man, it is so nice to be able to sit and it not be raining. I'm just at the Torrent Bay campsite. So there's a little toilet here, heaps of table and chairs, and a nice view. Look at this. Walking shorts and t-shirt. I think I've got about 2 hours to go. It's a good number.
tried to pitch my tent the fastest I've ever pitched a tent and dumped all my stuff inside because this is the view from the campsite. Look at that! And I am gonna attempt to swim. I can swim. I shouldn't say attempt. I will be swimming.
Try to see who you're meant to be. Are you afraid of light? Are you afraid of light? Speak easy and depend on me. Relieve their minds, oh relieve their minds. And I wonder as the world goes down, when answers to the call will go right through. And every time you say goodbye, I think to myself, could this be it for me and you?
There's a wicker. I just pulled my bag out. Let's go give him a visit, shall we? What are you doing there, mate? Touching my bag, are you?
Looks like I gotta sit here and protect my bag.
I don't even know what you're doing now.
I was just speaking to the DOC ranger, Department of Conservation ranger, and they really do check up on you, as in make sure you're not illegally camping. Every single time, whether you're camping or at a hut, they've got their little book and they are ticking your name off. But she said that by 8 a.m. in the morning, the worst of the rain will have already passed, so most of the rain will come tonight, but it's meant to be about like 25 millimeters, so I'm hoping my tent holds up. I'm gonna get my little house organized and maybe I'll say good night. Good night, see you tomorrow. Good morning. Last night I did not sleep very well because there was a mouse. Not that I'm afraid of mice or anything, but more just the fear that it would chew through something. And I'm a very light sleeper, so all of this little pitter-pattering around, I woke up constantly. There was also a bit of lightning around last night, which is kind of cool.
Day 3. Bark Bay campsite to Awaroa campsite. Distance 13.5 kilometers. Time approximately 4.5 hours. Another bridge, another puddle, another camera setup. Today you will reach the halfway point of your journey. There are a few memorable moments on this day, starting with the Tonga Quarry. This quarry was once home to several large buildings. All that remains is the concrete winch base and iron posts. But these ruins mark a story. During the quarry's operational times around 1907, granite blocks were cut from this very hillside for buildings in Nelson and Wellington. bringing 3 luxury items on this hike. One was this microfiber towel, another was my bathers, and another was a book. I haven't read my book yet, but this microfiber towel has been a godsend. I'm using it as a bit of protection for my camera to keep it out of the weather. So I can show you my little contraption that I'm doing. Basically my camera will slip in there. Then I put my towel over the top, and then this is just a little day pack by Cedar Summit, one of those little foldable day packs. Basically, I put it up and zip it up. Voila. While I ponder upon my ingenious engineering, it's worth noting that the beach we just walked on, Unatahuti Bay, is one of the longest stretches of beach within the Abel Tasman.
Made it. Some of these camping spots have real nice fluffy grass. I don't know if anyone's going to turn up later. Again, I'm by myself at the moment, but I'm going to put my tent on the fluffiest green spot. I'm also going to go for a swim, which is going to be so refreshing. Let's go! So I just discovered that mouse last night did in fact chew through my tent and through my pack. Let me show you. Here is the little entryway into my tent, and in my pack, right there. I hiked for a whole day and didn't even notice. But there's no hole in my food bag, so I don't know what the purpose was. He didn't get very far. Also, he made the hole right next to the bladder hole. Could have gone through there. 15 years of hiking, never had any problems with mice. My poor pack, my poor tent. Looks like the duct tape's coming out. So hopefully you can see me okay. Maybe I'll do this. Today is the day where we have one of the inlet crossings that you can only do about 1 hour and a half either side of low tide, and if you don't cross then you don't cross at all. So I got up early, well, somewhat early, about 6 a.m. and what's the time now? It's 7:24. I think low tide is about 8:06, so going good for time. Yeah, today will be the biggest day, but we're nearing the end, so getting a bit of that post-hike hotel room excitement. I don't know if I can cross this without getting wet feet. To think I was swimming in this. Find the shallowest part. That's definitely knee deep. So you probably can't see, but I'm hitting a little orange marker just there. Made it! It says it takes about 25 minutes to cross, which is probably about accurate. It doesn't look that far, but it's far. Let the day begin.
Day 4, Awaroa campsite to Whariwharangi Bay campsite. Distance 16.9 kilometers. Time approximately 5.5 hours. After crossing Awaroa Inlet, the track alternates from sandy beaches to regenerating kanuka-covered headlands. Possible warning of switchbacks. You'll pop out briefly into Tutorani campsite and find the nearby Narata homestead. It was built in 1914 with timber from the local sawmill. The building is now one of only 2 remaining homesteads in the Abel Tasman National Park. The thing about the Abel Tasman Coast Track is there are so many campsites, so many bays and coves, you really could spend forever exploring the place. My thoughts at this time were, maybe I'll just remain here, on the sand, eating my Snickers. But the hike must go on.
GoPro in a tree. We lost a leg. There's a nice ocean behind me, if I can make it work. So it's day 4 and I'm just starting to crave real world food. It's always funny what you crave on a hike. On the overland track, all I wanted when I finished the track was an apple, and we went to the market when we finished and there were just apples everywhere, and I got my apple. And when I hiked the Cape to Cape track, all I wanted was strawberry milk and a sausage roll. And when I got to the lighthouse, the cafe there, they had both of those things. On this particular hike, normally I just crave KFC when I finish, naturally. But on this particular hike, all I want is a passion fruit. That's what I've got in my head. A nice passion fruit. Oh my gosh, team. All I have wanted this entire time is some sunshine so things can stop being damp. I've literally sprawled everything out. Literally everything I own is damp. Even the casing for my PLB. But okay, so I've sprawled everything out. Everything's getting a good dose of sunshine. And
Even the little clothesline is finally in the sun. So, my tent. Oh my gosh. But really cool campsite. The grass is really nice and soft, and walking around on bare feet feels really good. But we've just got a little kitchen sink, and again, plenty of spots to choose from. And the hut is up that way. It's actually an old homestead, and the beach is that way. So I just came from that way, and then tomorrow I will head that way. The end of the day called for more stretching and beloved tiger balm recovery before checking out Whariwharangi homestead. It was last inhabited as a stockman's hut in 1926. It was restored by the Department of Conservation in the 1980s and now acts as your final night's refuge as hikers. Unless of course you're like me and you love your fluffy patches of grass. We are on the home stretch. I'm pretty sure today is just straight uphill and then straight back down. I was speaking to Paul, who was the dock hut ranger there, but he was recommending that I do a little side trip when I get to the car park, stash my bag and go out to Taupo Point, which I think is an hour and a half round trip. I'm not sure if I mentally prepared my body for any extra walking, but that's meant to be the first sighting from Abel Tasman. And full circle we come. Day 5. Whariwharangi Bay campsite to Wainui Bay. Distance 5.7 kilometers. Time approximately 2 hours. Despite the time constraint, something was drawing me to go, almost as a way to solidify my gratitude for this solo exploration. I tried to motor down to Wainui Bay. It is now 9:40 and I can see the sign. I'm 10 minutes away from Wainui, or this Taupo Point. It says 1 hour. So if that was 2 hours, I would still make it back here just before 12. So I've stashed my pack, got my little day pack. We're gonna try and go. I figured I'm this close, I might as well. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be back here to see this particular point, so we're gonna pretty much motor it there and we'll see you there. There she is, stashed in a tree. I am not the first to be here, and I am certainly not the last. The trees, the oceans, the animals, the mountains, they all exist outside of human culture. It's one of the things above all else that we share, interconnectedness through nature. It's not seen or heard directly, but rather a feeling. Nature has been our teacher over and over again, While it's without words, it speaks a universal language. To learn from her is to learn about ourselves. Next time you look out onto the horizon, take a moment to cherish its constant energy. Reclaim the vibrancy that silently reigns within us all. What do you feel?